Hello and welcome to the Unapologetic with Janine McKinnon podcast. I'm your host, Janine, manifesting maven, lunar ritualist, nature lover, sex magic expert, and empowering confidence and sexuality coach. If you'd like, you can think of me as your witchy bestie who calls you out on your self-deprecating cycles while encouraging you to align with your highest self. And I'm on a mission to help women return to the wisdom of their bodies and embrace their inner power. If you're a woo-woo woman craving more self-love, confidence, fulfillment, and passion in your life, you are in the right place. The Unapologetic with Janine McKinnon podcast is here to help women like you to thrive as your most radiant and happy self. Here you can find inspiration and tools taken from my one-on-one coaching sessions and group experiences to support you in your journey. We'll cover things like societal conditioning, inner child healing, pleasure practices, manifestation techniques, approachable rituals, and all around women's empowerment. My goal is to shift your perspective and give you actionable takeaways so you can walk away from these episodes feeling inspired to create a life that ignites your soul. Thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful that we're able to connect in this way, and I can't wait to dig into the contents of this episode with you. Without further ado, let's get into it. Hello. Today we are talking about the yin side of sexuality. Everything has a yin and a yang side to it, or feminine and masculine. And traditionally, women and feminine beings embody more facets of the yin side, where yang is the masculine, more fiery side. And it seems to be the struggle that I hear time and time again with women I speak with and work with about being able to really drop into that yin side, dropping into that receiving, into that surrendering. And today we are going to dig all into that, what exactly the yin side of sexuality is, what the common challenges that women face around it are. And of course, I will be giving you some little tips to support you in embodying more of the yin side in your experiences. So the challenges I hear time and time again from women around this yin side of sexuality are around, how do I let go and follow his lead when he makes sexual advances? I'm so caught up in the to-do and the day-to-day that I have zero interest in sex anymore. When we're together, it's hard to stay in the moment. Either I think about the things that need to get done, or I get self-conscious when he touches certain parts of my body and I just can't get out of my head. Or I find I can orgasm by myself, but not with a partner. Or sex just doesn't really do it for me. I haven't really orgasmed and it's just not my thing. So all of these have a commonality around the yin side of sexuality. While they each definitely have their own nuances and differences, but there is that common thread that we are going to really explore together around that yin side. So what is the yin side of sexuality, or that feminine side of sexuality? And it is the embodiment of receiving, of surrendering, because for orgasm or ecstatic pleasure to take place, there needs to be a full surrender component. And in order to fully surrender and receive, we need to feel safe and protected, and we need to be out of our heads and into our bodies, feeling all the subtleties of our emotions and our sensations. So these things are absolute musts to be able to lean into that feminine flow of that receiving. That's the safety, the protection, and being in our bodies. And perhaps if some of those original examples you felt very drawn to or identified yourself in, and then as I say that, with that safety, that protection getting into your body, Perhaps it's a clicking of why you find it to be a challenge because perhaps you're missing one, two, or all of those components. So, of course, it makes sense that you're not going to feel safe enough to fully surrender, to be able to receive. And there's so many different ways I see this come up again with the women I speak with the women I work with. And that's because so many women are just caught up in the go, go, go in the busyness. Like that is the way most people live today. And especially with family life, yes, it can be very busy and it doesn't need to be. And with that being such a common thread, it's all of the different drop offs, the extracurriculars, needing to do the errands for the house, the work schedule, social life, this, that, the other thing. It's a lot going on. And so, of course, if that is your reality, chances are you're going to be quite caught up in your head with what needs to be done. Perhaps your relationship doesn't feel balanced in the masculine feminine energies. And so this can show up in a few different ways. Perhaps he's not sharing the mental load. And so you carry it, feeling the full mental weight of all these different things that are going on. And so you're not being provided for in that way. You have this thing that you're needing to provide for yourself and really carry without that support. Perhaps you're feeling disconnected from him. And so you don't feel emotionally seen and emotionally safe with him. Perhaps he's made comments about your body in the past or in the present. So you constantly jump to self consciousness because you worry about that judgment, and that safety component comes back into it. Or maybe those comments came from childhood or your teenage years or adulthood, even, or compounded on each other as you grew up. And so your self conscious thoughts are a protector piece you've carried with you, and it is begging to be heard, to be healed. Maybe you're stressed about the economy and bills, which is a super fair stress point and concern. And it makes sense that your real life safety is being triggered in that case. Maybe vulnerability is just scary as fuck for you. So you keep your walls up, protecting your tender heart that is behind those protector pieces, those walls. There is that softness in there. But because you are so scared of vulnerability, perhaps there are situations in the past where you were and you were shut down for it, or attacked for it, or belittled for it, or all these different things. So that's why you've learned to put up those protector pieces. And so that's that masculine energy really coming up. And it gets in the way of that surrendering, of that receiving. And so that ties in to you shutting down your authenticity so much through your life, feeling like you're weird or too much, that you can't act that way or say those things that are just this like innate part of yourself. And so you're constantly doubting your natural impulses and worried about judgment. And so how can you possibly feel fully open and surrender either with yourself or with someone else when you're not even able to open up and let your true self shine in this way, in a less vulnerable way? So these are just some examples that I've seen come up. Like, as you can see, like there's many different ways that this can show itself and that women deal with. And perhaps it's a combination of these things. And so they tend to really keep women caught up in that masculine energy, struggling with that yin energy. And this is something I've helped many clients with and helping them navigate it, getting out of their masculine energy and really soften into their feminine energy, be able to bring that flow, that nurturing, that receiving, that emotional, intuitive strength. And these different challenges are very real challenges. And your body closing up are signals asking you to address them, which is exactly what I help clients with because there's so much beauty and allowing these protector pieces to slide away and to shift from your masculine dominant energies into your feminine flow, into your divine feminine embodiment. Because when we as feminine beings find our flow, it's where we truly thrive. It's how we feel connected to our family, our community, to our cycles, and to the earth. If we don't feel like we have that village or that community, it's through that feminine flow, that openness, that receptivity, that connectedness that we're able to build that village and that community. It's how we expand our emotional capacity to be able to hold the lows and really experience the highs. It's how we strengthen our intuitive powers. And it's how we expand into more and more pleasure as we learn to receive and surrender. It's how we're able to be turned on by life, find joy in the simple present moments instead of rushing right on through them. It's how we connect deeply and vulnerably with our partners and experience ecstatic bliss and togetherness through sacred union and sacred energy exchanges. And the thing is, when we're dealing with these protector pieces that are getting in the way of us being able to be in our yin, in our feminine flow, like these protector pieces can be tricky as hell to navigate. Like that's why you're here listening in your 30s, your 40s, and beyond, and still struggling with these things, right? Like it's hard. And that's why they've held on for so long. And so I will give you some tips and tricks. And I will say, though, that with these deeply rooted learned behaviors, coaching is, in my opinion, the best way to navigate them because you have someone who is trauma informed, who knows what they're doing, who knows how to navigate these different pieces on a deep, deep level. My approach is very holistic and somatic, looking at all of your inner part systems. And because it is so deep, you are able to really alchemize them, to update your nervous system, to be able to release them and transform them in a long lasting way, which is very different than traditional talk therapies where you're using that mind, that more logical side. When you're able to really get deep in the body, it is so much more transformative in this long lasting way. So if you're interested, check out the show notes for a complimentary catalyst call, and we can chat and explore your desires together. That said, if you're wanting to navigate on your own, there's a couple of things you can do. First, journaling. Journaling is a fantastic tool that, yes, it is really on that mind side of thing. And we are able to get very, very clear about things, which is really helpful. So I recommend you exploring your current situation and beliefs. So what is it that you feel is getting in the way of you relaxing into that yin energy? What is happening internally? Like, where are you feeling it? What different thoughts are coming up? Where do you think those are coming from? What are the reasons behind it? Where are they rooted? And what would support you in moving into your yin energy, from shifting from those protector pieces, that more yang side, into your more feminine flow? Then secondly, you can take things a deeper level after you've gained that clarity and that awareness around it. And that is through using meditation, breathwork, and pleasure practices. And I believe I've touched on the differences in previous podcast episodes, but I'd say they go in that order of how deep you are really able to get into your body. So meditation, you are able to get into that subconscious to do some different levels of reprogramming to your subconscious, to your nervous system. And breath work takes things that much further in really moving emotional blockages through your body and being able to release these things that have been stuck and to be able to open things up again for that reprogramming. And then pleasure practices takes it that much deeper because it really brings all of your senses online in a way that nothing else really does. Your nervous system is fully open as well, with both this beautiful blend of your parasympathetic and your sympathetic state. And so with this full openness, with being fully online and bringing in your five senses, which is firing different parts of your brain, you are able to do this transformation, this reprogramming in just such depths and be able to bring your progress, just quantum leap it in still quite gentle ways, especially when you are working with someone. But again, you can do these things yourself. And so there are downloads I have available in the Unapologetic Practices collection, which is a great place to start. The Honeypot meditation is available for you completely for free. And so that I will leave in the show notes. And it's a way to really rewire your nervous system and your body to feel more self-love, radiance, and confidence in your body, in your sexual organs. There are also a bunch of different meditations, breathwork, and pleasure practices available there for you as well, with connecting with your sexuality at a pace that feels true for you. Some other options are guided by glow erotic meditations. They are fantastic. They are these essentially, if you want to think about it, like erotic books or smut books, but it's a meditation taken down to, I want to say like, say 10 to 30. I think they have a few that are 40 minutes. And it walks you through this narrative. And so you're really able to lose yourself into it, to relax into it by having someone else guide you. And it is quite a sensorial experience. So it's a great way of really connecting with yourself in a low pressure kind of way. I actually have a giveaway going on with Guided by Go right now that I will also link in the show notes. I think you have a few days left to enter. The giveaway will close on Thursday. We have extended it for you with the release of this episode, and you can win a breathwork session with Sarah Player from Guided by Glow, a coaching session with myself, and access to the Nourish Through Pleasure program. So there are many different ways to enter. I know everyone has different comfort levels for how open they are about their interest or curiosities in these things. So if you're someone who feels a little bit more close to the heart with these things, you can just follow each of us and comment letting us know you've done so. Or you can subscribe to our email list if you would like and leave it at that. Or you can take things a step further and receive entries for each option you do in tagging your friends and sharing to your story. But that is available for you as well. So to wrap things up, I just want to say that although it is super common for women to struggle with surrendering and receiving, not only with sexuality, but in all areas of life, really, it doesn't mean it needs to be your norm. And you can create safety within your relationships on your own or with the support of your coach. And through your baby steps, begin to really make those shifts from your masculine yang energy to your feminine yin energy. And as you do, notice your flow and your creativity unlocking. As you tap more and more into pleasure, as you find safety in receiving and surrendering and really get into those expansive, pleasure-filled experiences. Now, I used to be very boss babe, masculine energy, feeling so disconnected in my relationship and in my sexuality. And I have been able to heal through it, to grow through it through using these tools and not only embody my feminine energy and the beautiful flowy yin side of sexuality, but I've been able to help many other women do it as well. So if it is possible for us, I know it's possible for you. And I'd love to help you if you're feeling called to work together, whether that's through my unapologetic practices or through coaching. Feel free to check the links in the show notes. And as always, I'm here for any questions or insights. Please feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram or an email to info@JanineMcKinnon.com. I would love to chat with you. And until next time, trust your inner wisdom and make some magic. Thank you for joining us inside the Unapologetic with Janine McKinnon podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you feel called, I would so appreciate it if you shared about this episode in your stories or left us a review to help us reach more women on their unapologetic journey. As a thank you for your support, you'll be entered into our monthly draw for a free coaching session. Just tag @Janine.McKinnon in your story shares, or leave the rating or review, screenshot it, and email to Janine@unapologeticmotherhood.com to be entered. One lucky winner is selected every month for a focused coaching session to support you in working towards your current desires. Until next time, trust your inner wisdom and create some magic.